Bitcoin appears poised to hit a historic 100,000 US dollar level since its ongoing rally following the US presidential election earlier this month. But the cryptocurrency has since retreated just shy of the historic level amid warnings that investor optimism may be overdone. Here to help us explain what's behind this is Matt Haldane from the Post Tech Desk. So what's behind or what's fueling the latest Bitcoin fever?
So Bitcoin's actually been having a pretty big banner year. The year started off with the US approving Bitcoin ETFs, and Hong Kong later had its own Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin hit a peak price in March before it came back down. And then, of course, the latest big swings that are happening are a result of the US election. The re-election of Donald Trump has been seen as a huge boost to the crypto industry. Trump ran on a very crypto-friendly platform, even more so than his opponent Kamala Harris, who had been reaching out to the crypto industry as well, trying to court them, but Trump made some much more kind of grandiose promises. He promised to create a Bitcoin reserve, for example. He made some promises that looked very friendly on the regulatory front as well. He promised to fire the Securities and Exchange Commission head, Gary Gensler. Of course, after the election, Gensler said that he would just step down at the end of Joe Biden's presidency. So in a lot of ways, the crypto industry is taking these as very positive signals.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious, out of all the cryptocurrencies, why the focus on Bitcoin? And has the optimism spilled over to other cryptocurrencies?
Well, Bitcoin's the original cryptocurrency, so it's kind of seen as this digital gold, this kind of like safe place to put your money within the crypto industry because it's always going to be there. Bitcoin is in some ways seen as the only truly decentralized cryptocurrency. It's one of the only ones left that relies on the so-called mining mechanism rather than staking, which is where people just put in crypto to verify transactions on the blockchain. So because of this mechanism, it's truly decentralized. There's no like central organizing. There's no central organization that's behind issuing Bitcoins.
Now, has the optimism spilled over into other cryptocurrencies?
Yes. So it looks like the market cap of all cryptocurrencies right now is up about 50%. Almost nearly 50% since the election. That according to CoinGecko, which tracks like something like 15,000 tokens. So there's certainly, it's the rising tide is lifting all boats. Kind of, not literally every cryptocurrency is doing well, but it is an industry-wide phenomenon.
So if Bitcoin were to hit the 100,000 US dollar mark, how significant is this milestone?
It's a big symbolic milestone, and it's a psychological milestone for the industry because there's something about the $100,000 mark is a very psychologically appealing figure. The crypto industry has been touting that this day would come for years now. Now it's finally arrived. Mm-hmm. So this is a lot of people are kind of taking this as vindication that they were right. Of course, it hasn't quite reached that point yet, but it looks likely to happen at some point, right?
Mm-hmm. So what does it mean then, once it reaches the mark? Is there going to be like this extra momentum now to push Bitcoin even greater heights, or is it just like a psychological barrier that they just have to break through?
Well, there could be an argument to be made that because of this kind of psychological appeal to this figure, that it could become kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Mm-hmm. That once it reaches that point, people will feel more comfortable with adopting Bitcoin. But of course, the actual fundamentals or the fundamental reality of what Bitcoin is as an asset, as a piece of technology, nothing will have changed. Mm-hmm. So its continued momentum still relies on other things that are happening in the market, whether the continued faith of investors, public adoption, the regulatory landscape, both in the U.S. and the rest of the world. Those types of things will continue to affect the price of Bitcoin.
So do you think the rise is sustainable?
Well, it really depends on what's happening in all these different markets. People have seen a positive movement in many markets towards regulating the crypto industry, which investors believe this is positive because it provides regulatory clarity. This could provide greater stability in the market. So maybe that means fewer really radical price swings in the future if they feel like they can safely invest in those assets in places like Asia and Europe.
Mm-hmm. So, however, investors seem to have stepped back. It's for a while it seemed like it was poised to just cross that threshold, but now they seem to be holding back. So, are there concerns that why this has yet to happen?
I don't know if we can say exactly why investors do what they do related to cryptocurrency. There's no fundamentals that you can check the price of Bitcoin against. So it could be a signal that investors just see that maybe the hype, the post-election hype around crypto has just gotten too carried away. And it's just kind of run its course for now. The new administration doesn't come in the US until January 20th. So it could be that investors are just waiting for more concrete signals for what's actually going to happen at that point.
Right. And do you, in your opinion, do you think this optimism fueled by the re-election of Donald Trump, is this justified or is this over-exuberance?
In some ways, it is justified because they're already getting things that they had wanted. Gensler is stepping down. Some of the things are going to be more challenging for Trump. Delivering on something like a Bitcoin reserve is going to require Congress support. But there could be other things, other types of legislation that are crypto friendly that could see bipartisan support in Congress, because it's kind of less of a political hot potato than some of the other issues that they're dealing with. And I think the crypto industry could expect a more a friendlier regulatory regime under the Trump administration, and that could bolster things like business activity, which could also be good for the price of cryptocurrencies generally. So in a way, there are certainly signals there that could justify some of this hype and exuberance right now.
Okay, we'll leave it at that then. Thank you so much for your insights. And to follow the latest development on Bitcoin's possible historic milestone, you can check out scmp.com.